Hi there. I'd like to take a moment to show you our next reading, which is Petrarch Sonnet 333. So I'm in the module right now. There's an image of Petrarch. Francis Petrarch helped make the sonnet a very popular poetic form throughout Western Europe. Remember, a sonnet consists of an octave, meaning a stanza of 8 lines, and a sestet, meaning a stanza of 6 lines. Sometimes this is further divided into two stanzas of 4 lines and then two stanzas of 3 lines. What's important is that the sonnet has 14 lines total. And remember, there is what's called a volta near the middle of the sonnet, usually at the end of the octave or at the beginning of the sestet. At the end of line 9 and at the beginning of line 8, and at the beginning of line 9. Now, volta is the Italian word for turn, and it means that there is a change in perspective or a change in the tone. Sometimes the poet will pose a problem or describe a situation in the first octave and then propose an answer in the next stanza in the sestet. I would like to show you Sonnet 333 first in the original Italian. So this is what Petrarch actually wrote. The word sonnet in Italian is canzoniere. I want to show you this and read it for you in the original Italian because I want you to hear the rhyme and the meter, or another way to say the rhythm, of the original poem. So I will point to each line as I read it with my cursor. So, Canzoniere 333. Ite rime dolenti al duro sasso che il mio caro tesoro in terra asconde. Ivi chiamate chi dal ciel risponde, benché il mortal sia in loco oscuro e basso. Ditele chi son già di viver lasso, dal navigar per queste orribili onde, ma ricogliendo le sue sparte fronde, dietro le vo pur così passò. Sol di lei ragionando viva e morta, anzi pur viva ed or fatta immortale, acciò che il mondo la conosca e ame. Piacciale al mio passare esser accorta, che presso ormai siamo all'incontro e quale ella è nel cielo a sé mi tiri e chiame. Now, our English translation follows that same format, and this is a translation done by Morris Bishop. And he writes, Sonnet 333. Go, grieving rhymes of mine, to that hard stone, whereunder lies my darling, lies my dear, and cry to her to speak from heaven's sphere. Her mortal part with grass is overgrown. Tell her I'm sick of living, that I'm blown by winds of grief from the course I ought to steer, that praise of her is all my purpose here, and all my business, that of her alone, do I go telling, that how she lived and died, and lives again in immortality, all men may know, and love my Laura's grace. Oh, may she deign to stand at my bedside when I come to die, and may she call to me and draw me to her in the blessed place. Notice how Petrarch presents a problem in the beginning. His beloved Laura is dead. Laura reappears in many of his sonnets, and there is still some debate on whether there really was a woman named Laura that existed in Petrarch's life. He describes how her gravestone is overgrown. So, some time has passed since she died. Then his tone becomes more positive as he thinks of how he will write poetry about her that will make her live again in immortality, and also implying that she's going to heaven. And then he hopes that he will meet her again someday, possibly in heaven or the blessed place. Now, in the Italian, the word that Petrarch uses is cielo, which is also the word for sky. Notice too, this translation uses the same rhyme scheme as the original Italian, which is what makes this an exceptional translation of Petrarch's work. Notice in the first stanza, in Italian, the word sasso rhymes with basso, right? The first and fourth lines rhyme, and then the second and third lines rhyme. Asconde and risponde. That's the same pattern in our translation. Stone rhymes with overgrown, and then the second and third lines also rhyme. Deer rhymes with sphere. So I would say that this rhyme scheme is an A, B, B, A rhyme scheme. In this section, when we study Petrarch and answer questions on the discussion board, we will be working on our close reading skills. I look forward to reading your interpretations on our discussion board.